Well, good morning, everyone. And it's great to be back here in Brampton with our candidate for Brampton Centre, Charmaine Williams. And I want to thank the team here at Alstom's, well, these are all-stars right behind me, at the state-of-the-art facility for hosting us today. Right here, Ontario workers are building the future of Ontario Transit, including the transit cars that will operate the Finch West LRT and the all-new Hazel McCallion line. And I was just telling the folks behind me, I can't wait to get this wrapped with Hazel's picture on it as well. But before we begin, I want to thank the women and men who've been working around the clock to restore power in communities impacted by this terrible storm over the weekend. And I want to thank the many families for your patience and resilience as this important work continues. Throughout the weekend, I've been in contact with utility providers and mayors who assure me that progress is being made and power is returning as quickly as possible. I've offered our full support, and we will provide whatever resources are needed to help people get through this terrible situation. Friends, we're less than 9 days from Election Day. And over the past few weeks, I've heard it time and time again. People are feeling good about the future of our great province. Like me, they know that Ontario's best days are ahead. But it's up to each of us to roll up our sleeves and get it done. That means rebuilding Ontario's economy with better jobs and bigger paychecks, so our kids and grandkids can build their future here in Ontario. It means keeping costs down and putting more money back in your pocket. It means working for workers by getting more women and men into the skilled trades and manufacturing jobs. It means keeping our province and our economy open today and in the future. And it means saying yes to building highways and key infrastructure. And that's why today I'm here to announce that a re-elected PC government will invest $86.6 billion over the next 10 years to build It's never been more important to get building. Over the coming decade, our population will grow by 2.5 million people. By 2051, travel times on the main stretch of Highway 401 will double. It will take 90 minutes longer to travel the 401 through the Greater Toronto and Hamilton area. All of Ontario's 400 series highways, including the 407, will be at capacity within the next decade. People are already stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic, and if we don't build, gridlock is only going to get worse. With our historic $86.6 billion investment, the Ontario PCs are the only party with a transportation plan that includes roads, highways, bridges, and transit. We're the only party that will build Highway 413 and the Bradford Bypass. We're the only party that will get it done with the new Ontario Line subway, expanding GO train service and restoring Northlander passenger rail. My opponents want you to choose between highways and subways. I'm here to tell you that the only choice is between our plan to build and the Liberals and NDP who want to cancel every project they can. I'm here to tell you that we can say yes. Yes to building Highway 413 to save drivers in Halton, Peel, and York up to 30 minutes each way on their commute. Yes to building the Bradford Bypass. We're saying yes to the largest subway expansion in Canadian history, including the new Ontario Line subway, the 3-stop Scarborough subway extension, the York North, Yonge North subway extension, and the Eglinton Crosstown West extension. We're saying yes to restoring Northlander passenger rail with 16 stops from Toronto to Timmins and Cochrane, and yes to extending GO train service to Bowmanville, London, and Niagara. For 15 years, the Liberals had their chance to build, but they didn't get it done. They neglected Ontario's infrastructure. They watched as our roads and highways crumble as gridlock grew. And now Stephen Del Duca wants you sitting in traffic for 90 minutes longer. That's an hour and a half that mums and dads will spend in their car instead of with their kids. All you need to know about Stephen Del Duca is one stat. The list of highways he wants to cancel is longer than the list of highways he wants to build. As for Andrea Horwath and the NDP, they're the party of no. No to every new idea, no to progress, no to building. Andrea Horwath would rather protest a highway than build one. We cannot allow the Liberals to take us back, and we cannot allow the NDP to hold us back. This is the choice Ontarians face on June the 2nd. It's a very clear choice. If you want more excuses, if you want more delays and empty talk, well, you've got a lot of options in this election. But if you want to get it done, you have one choice, the Ontario PCs. We're the only party saying yes. We're the only party that will get it done. Friends, we have the team, we have the vision, we have the plan, and now we have the momentum. So on June the 2nd, everybody, let's do it, let's get it done. Thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you.
Questions at the mic? Questions at the microphone? One question, first question?
Sure. Good morning, Mr. Ford.
How are you?
I'm fine. My first question is for you is about the extreme weather events this weekend. Do you believe we're going to experience more of these in Ontario, and that they're going to become more frequent because of climate change?
Well, I believe in climate change. Let's make that clear. And we're doing everything to prevent it by building electric vehicles, having investment into the battery plants. So we're really focusing on everything we can. We're investing money into electric arc furnaces in Dofasco and Hamilton and Algoma up in Sault Ste. Marie. That's like taking 1 million cars off the roads. So we're doing everything we can to prevent that. And what a tragedy what happened over the weekend with this storm. It was so widespread, and I just want to give my prayers and thoughts to the families that lost loved ones. I also want to thank the utility workers that worked their back off, canceled their long weekend, and they're all champions. I'm very, very grateful for all their hard work.
And from what you saw in Uxbridge yourself and what you've seen elsewhere, your party, compared to the other parties, hasn't put forward plans to invest in climate, resilient infrastructure. I'm wondering if what you saw this weekend has changed your mind and has made you think that, your government or re-elected government should be doing more in terms of investing and improving the infrastructure in Ontario to be more resilient against these extreme weather events.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Thank you for the question. I'll respectfully totally disagree with you. You look at our plan versus 15 years of the Liberals and NDP that have done nothing to build subways. Right here alone, you can see what we're building here to get people out of the cars. We have the largest subway expansion in Canadian history, the largest in North America. That's going to take millions of people out of the cars. We're also getting people out of gridlock. You have to build roads and highways to get people out of the gridlock. One of the worst examples of pollution, go stand on the bridge of the 401 and watch bumper-to-bumper traffic. That's why we're building roads and bridges and highways to get people home quicker, that they don't have to sit in gridlock and smell someone else's fumes. We're also, again, focusing on changing over Dofasco and Algoma with the electric arc furnaces. So we invested a tremendous amount of money with the federal government. That's like taking, again, 1 million cars off the road. We've done more in our short period of 4 years than the Liberals and NDP did in the last 15 years. But thank you so much for your question.
Hi, Mr. Ford. One thing that we've seen over the weekend is private polling from your party, private polling from the Liberal Party. It's kind of dovetailing with what the publicly available polls are showing, that you guys are in the lead, probably going to win a majority, but could be on the cusp. And only the Liberals, according to the polls that we've seen from yours and them, say that they're the only ones who can prevent you from winning a majority. Do you think that they're your main competition now, and that's why you have these new attack ads at Del Duca this morning? I heard on the radio coming up here. Is that Are you more worried about the Liberals than the NDP?
You know, Robert, I always say the only poll that counts is on election day. We always run like we're in last place. I tell our team, run like we're in last place. Don't stop door knocking all the way up to June the 2nd. And then the real work begins, God willing. We have an opportunity to serve the people of Ontario. We're going to work extremely hard. But I'll tell you one thing. I was door knocking in Vaughan, and I have bad news for Mr. Del Duca. He's losing that riding, as sure as I'm talking to you today. And we have a great Minister Tobolo, representing the people. They were very, very happy with him. And we're going to continue working hard to earn the people's vote on June the 2nd.
I want to also ask you about another riding that should be a safe Tory riding, Parry Sound Muskoka, and riding you know well, your cottage is there. It sounds like the Greens could actually win that seat from you because there's no Liberal candidate, and the Greens are running really hard. Mike Schreiner's been there a lot. They're going to spend a lot of resources in the last week and a few days on that. Are you worried about losing Parry Sound Muskoka to the Greens?
No, I'm not worried about it, but it just goes to show Mr. Del Duca's leadership. For the first time in Confederation, the provincial Liberals have not filled candidates in seats across Ontario. That pretty well says it all. You can't run a government when you don't have people running in the seats that are available. I'm a strong believer in the mayor there, Mayor Graydon Smith. His family's been there for decades. He's been a fabulous mayor, and I'm very, very confident that he's going to win that riding. In saying that, as we see the Liberals' numbers going down, yes, the people that are benefiting it are the Greens. They're picking up a couple points, but I have all the confidence in the world the people of Parry Sound Muskoka will elect Mayor Graydon Smith.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Ford. We're doing a story about guns coming across the border, and I wanted to know what your party can do with your power as the Premier of the province to actually prevent the flow of guns coming in from the United States, or is it just a federal issue, and are they doing enough?
Well, thanks for that question, Colin. And really, the border is a federal issue. But in saying that, we've put $186 million into guns and gangs with police services right across this province. But what happens, folks, is, you know, the most frustrating thing for the police is they arrest these people with guns, and all of a sudden, the next 2 days, they're back on the streets with guns. They're illegal guns coming across the border, and I just asked the federal government, let's beef up our border patrol. These men and women are just phenomenal on our borders. They do an incredible job, the best job they can with the resources they have. But more importantly, you know, we need to change some of the laws, federal laws, that you get caught with a gun or you do a gun crime, you don't get a slap on the wrist and out on the streets to do the same. We have to put down heavy, heavy sentences for these criminals that want to disrupt our communities. So I encourage the federal government, slap the cuffs on them, throw the key away, and we'll take the criminals off the roads and out of our communities.
On another subject, Global News did a story today about Stephen Del Duca and his riding association expenses. During his time as a cabinet minister, the riding association had spent some $50,000 on very expensive steak dinners. Your riding association, by contrast, spent about $5,000, mostly at Tim Hortons and Pizza and all of that. You have vowed in the past to take a look at those rules to tighten up. What would you like to change? Should steak dinners or even trips to Tim Hortons, should those not go on the taxpayer dime whatsoever, even if it's a riding association?
Yeah, our number one rule is always respect the taxpayers. I think I mentioned before, and thank you for that, Colin, that I'm not too happy about any of the parties. It's all legal. It's all gets audited and goes to Elections Ontario. I don't like the rules. So again, when all the parties come back to the ledge, we're going to review that. I'm just not in favor of spending taxpayers' money.
Hi, Doug. Holly Mackenzie-Suter with Canadian Press. Yeah, I've been trying to get an interview with you, so it's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah, but just following up on the questions about climate mitigation, your budget/platform actually has a lot more measures to help drivers and invest kind of in car culture rather than do stuff to help the climate. But yeah, just wondering, given the extent of the damage we saw from the extreme weather this weekend, do you think you need to do more? And for example, reversing cuts to conservation authorities?
Well, first of all, thank you for that question. You know, we have 90% clean energy. Our goal is to hit 100%. But as for the auto sector, you can do it and create jobs and be very friendly to the environment. And a perfect example is the previous government, the Liberals and the NDP, chased 300,000 jobs out of our province. As we stand today, there's 550,000 more people working today than when we got elected. There's another 340,000 jobs waiting for people to fill them. And where I'm going with this is the auto sector was basically, they left Ontario under the previous government. Now the auto sector is investing $14 billion in clean vehicles and green vehicles, and as I say, clean steel and green steel out of Dofasco and Algoma. And we're investing billions of dollars along with the federal government to build the cars of the future, electric vehicles. We had the largest investment from LG and Stellantis down in Windsor, $5 billion to build batteries there. And the supply chain, we start from the north in the critical minerals, which we have more critical minerals in a lot of places around the world to build the batteries, and it flows down into Windsor and also, as I mentioned, the steel plants. And then we start building, again, cars of the future, clean cars that run on batteries. And I think it's staggering. In 4 years, we've had over $14 billion investments. As all the car companies are leaving, manufacturing, now they're all back and they're building, no matter if it's in Oshawa or Ingersoll or Cambridge or Woodstock or Brampton, right here in Brampton with Stellantis and Oshawa and Windsor. So we have a thriving auto sector that are building green vehicles.
Thanks. And I'm wondering as well about your campaign style, this campaign. It's very similar to last time before you were the Premier, when you weren't really doing interviews, budget instead of like proper platform. I'm just wondering if you think that's going to work this time and, you know, hit with people. Sorry, no, I'm just wondering, and why should people, I guess, trust you to get it done, like your slogan says, and not reverse positions when you're elected again?
Well, first of all, I'm out in front of the media every single day. I love getting out there around the province and meeting the people, which we've clocked more hours than any campaign. I always say I like getting out of the bubble. I call Queen's Park the bubble. I like meeting the real people. I love meeting people like the people behind me that are working their backs off, earning a living, you know, paying rent, paying a mortgage, putting food on their table, raising their kids. But we're the only government that's putting money back into their pockets. We're the only government that's scrapping the tolls. We're the only government that's lowering the gas tax by 5.7 cents on top of the 4.3 cents we already lowered it. And we're the only government that got rid of the license plate stickers to put more money back into people's pockets. And the other three, all they want to do is just jack up the taxes, take more money out of your pocket, not build anything. It's going to be a very clear choice. We're the government that's saying yes to rebuilding Ontario with new schools, with new hospitals, new transit and bridges and roads. We have the economy really, really moving in the right direction, and I think people see it. I hear it. We have the momentum out there, and we're going to continue working hard for the next 9 days, and then we're going to continue to work hard for the people of Ontario. God willing, we get reelected on June the 2nd, and I just appreciate everyone's support out there. I'm very, very grateful. Never take anything for granted, ever.
Okay, last question here.
Yep. Hi, Mr. Ford.
Hi.
You commented on a Radio Canada poll about Franco-Ontarians a few days ago in your last press availability. There's a new poll today that shows that 61% of Franco-Ontarians think French is in decline in the province. Do you feel your government is in any way responsible?
Well, I don't think so. We've really supported the Francophone Ontarians every which way we can. We're the only government that built 2 French universities. We're the only government that came up with an economic development strategy for Francophone Ontarians. Right now, there's about 600,000 Francophone Ontarians. We've worked very, very well. And I got to give the credit to Caroline Mulroney. She's been an absolute champion. In the province as well. They play such a vital role in our economy and culture in all areas.
supporting him as we move forward.
In 2018, when your government made cuts to French services, Premier Legault new language law that it will affect the lives, everyday life of Anglo-Quebecers. Do you feel any responsibility to speak to Mr. Legault about this? Do you have any concerns with what's happening with Bill 96 in Quebec?
Well, let me tell you something. Francois and myself, or I should say Premier Legault, we have a phenomenal relationship. I call him a friend. I've been to his house with our spouses. We've broken bread many times. I talk to him frequently. I think the world of Francois, and we just have a phenomenal relationship. I'm always going to support him, and I'm sure likewise. So between Quebec and Ontario, we've never had a closer relationship with two provinces working together. And Francois and I have talked about this so many times, worked hand in hand with each other. We have the largest populations, both provinces in the country, but we're always there to support other provinces and smaller provinces. But we have an incredible relationship. The only thing we differ on, he loves the Habs, I love the Leafs. We always have a friendly bet on, but outside of that, we get along extremely well. Okay, thank you, everyone. All the very best. Thank you.